Hello guys, and welcome to Super English with Phil Norris. We are back with another vocabulary and phrase lesson today. My videos last week obviously were long. I had a 17-minute, and I think it was 17 minutes the week before. So I'm going to try to keep this one short. I promise this time. I said that last time, but I will try to keep this lesson short this time. So, my word for the day is isolated. Isolated. Say that out loud. Isolated. Have you heard this word before? Think about it. Have you used this word before? Have you come across it in your English learning? Isolated is spelled I-S-O-L-A-T-E-D. It's also, you can say it as isolate, isolation, isolationism. So, isolate means to basically live far away from people, society, building. So it can be buildings or places. So a place can be isolated. For example, think of, let's see here. Think of a small town in Iceland, for example. A small town in Iceland is isolated from the rest of the world. Let's say they don't have the technology we have. So they're isolated from the rest of the world. They don't really know what's going on. They're unaware of the grand world, the things that are happening in the world, the big problems in the world. So they're isolated from society. Another example is in the United States, there are a lot of people who live out in the country. There's a lot of land in the United States. So some people might be isolated from everyone in their community because they choose to live out away from people. They choose to live kind of a quiet life, separate from other people, separate from their community. Nothing wrong with that. They just live isolated. Another example, which is pretty relevant to today's society, is quarantine. So we were quarantined in the United States. I know it's different in every country, but we were quarantined in the United States. We were told to stay home so that we wouldn't spread COVID-19, coronavirus. So many of the people in the United States felt isolated from other people, because we weren't supposed to be around other people. We weren't supposed to go outside. And we really were only supposed to go to the store or the supermarket. Places like Walmart or Kroger or Meijer, which are popular markets in the United States, at least where I live. So I personally felt isolated from other people. I felt isolated from society. I don't like being isolated. I don't like being separate from other people. I don't like being separate from people in my community. So I felt very isolated. Think about a time when you've been isolated, when you've had to feel isolated. It might have been during quarantine, might have been after a time when you were kind of depressed and sad, and you didn't know it, but you were isolating yourself from other people because you weren't very happy. We've all felt isolated at one time in our life or another. It's a common thing. So that's our word for today. You can live in isolation. So, for example, Bob the builder enjoyed work in the city, but he chose to live in isolation in his personal life. Or another example would be the book Into the Wild. If you've ever read this book, it's a very interesting book. A young man decides he's done with society. He had a corporate job, a great job on paper, but he wasn't happy. So he decided to go travel and live in the wilderness. He decided to live in isolation from social media, I don't know if they had social media then, but from social media, from his family, from his friends, from corporate responsibilities and work responsibilities, he wanted to be free. So he chose to live in isolation. So where you're probably going to hear this most is in the meaning of that it's just minimal contact with people. So isolation can be minimal contact with people, or to be isolated from people. Minimal contact, little contact with people. This is where it's most commonly used. It can also be used as saying, I feel isolated. I feel, maybe you can feel isolated by feeling like you're not connected to the people you're around. You can feel isolated by maybe people not recognizing your emotions and your needs. So you're feeling isolated, you're feeling alone. It's a pretty common word in English language. This is just a good word to know. It's a good word to have in the back of your head. Because you'll probably see it if you take the TOEFL exam or the IELTS. You'll likely see it in books. I've probably seen the word isolated used in every book I've read, whether it's fiction or nonfiction. Just because it's a common feeling to feel isolated. It's common for people to feel isolated. Also, another good example is a building. A building can be isolated from other buildings. It could be separate. It can be in its own property. So let's say you're in a city and your friends all work in the city, but then one of your friends works outside of the city. He works in an isolated building outside of the city. It's separate from other buildings. It might be in the woods. It might be on its own, 500-acre property, 500-acre grounds. So this is another use of the word isolated. So let me know if you have any questions about this. It's a pretty easy word to understand. Like I said, we all felt isolated during quarantine. We all had to be inside and be alone, or maybe you might have been with your family, but you didn't get to see your friends, so you felt isolated from your friends. Many of you are in school, and you ended up having to go home early from school and learn online, so you felt isolated from your classmates, your fellow students. So this is a pretty common word, good word to know. Then let's move to our phrase of the day. So I have keep a low profile, to keep a low profile. So it goes along with isolated a bit. Say that out loud. I'm keeping a low profile. Or he is keeping a low profile. She is keeping a low profile. I like to keep a low profile. So to keep a low profile means to avoid attracting attention. Means to stay out of the public eye. The public eye. Means to stay, under the radar is another way of saying to keep a low profile, kind of not drawing attention to yourself. Now, you could choose to keep a low profile during a time period in your life. For example, let's use an example. There are many celebrities who might do something bad or inappropriate, something that could damage their personal image, something that makes them not look so good. So they might keep a low profile afterwards. They might stay out of the public eye, hoping that everybody forgets what they did, hoping that everybody kind of moves on and forgets that they did something bad or something that hurt their public image. There's some people who like to keep a low profile all the time. For example, my dad. My dad is quiet. He's introverted. He's a lawyer. He's hardworking. And my mom is very talkative and friendly. She has lots and lots of friends. in the community. But with having lots and lots of friends, everybody might know what your business is, might know everything about you, and might be involved in your personal life, which I personally don't like either. And my dad doesn't like that. So he likes to keep a low profile. He kind of stays separate from other people. He can isolate himself from social situations, from other people in the community, because he likes to keep his life private. He doesn't like drama, which is something people, I feel like in the United States, love, is drama. Everybody wants drama in their life. Even though they say they don't, they do. But my dad likes to keep a low profile. He likes to wake up, do what he needs to do in the morning. He goes to work. He does his job. He comes home. He cooks. He cleans. He does everything he needs to. And then he goes to bed, wakes up the next day, and does it all over again. There's no drama. He has a simple life, and he loves his life that way. But there are some people who like drama. So they might wake up and get on social media and post something controversial, post something on social media that some people might not like. And then it gets all these comments, and everybody's upset, or everybody, half the people are upset, half the people support what they said. Then they go to work, and they start drama at work. They say, oh, Karen's going to get fired. Perfect example. Karen or Sarah's going to get fired at work today, going to get fired at work today, even though that's not true. Or they might blame someone else at work vocally. Then they come home, and they get on social media again, and they post something else that is controversial, that divides people on their opinion. And everybody sees it on social media. They know what they said, and they might see them differently. So this person, let's say Karen, for instance, isn't keeping a low profile. She's being loud, and she's attracting attention, and she is being the center of attention, and we call this stirring the pot, causing trouble, or brewing drama, creating drama. So again, to keep a low profile means to kind of stay under the radar, to avoid attention, and it's not a bad thing. It can be a bad thing if you do it too much, especially in situations where you probably should be more vocal and active, like the classroom. If you're in the classroom, you probably shouldn't keep a low profile, because the teacher won't think that you're learning, or they will think that you didn't do the homework the night before, or they might think that something's wrong. So in class, you should probably be more vocal and answer questions and not keep a low profile. But there are a lot of people who are introverted and quiet who like to keep a low profile. So you'll hear this. So if anybody says, oh, I like to keep a low profile, or he likes to keep a low profile, it just means he likes to stay kind of quiet and avoid attention, or he likes to stay out of drama. So again, to keep a low profile was our phrase for today, and isolated was our word of the day. Please let me know if you guys have any questions. I hope you're really enjoying these lessons so far. I plan on doing a little more interesting lessons. I'll start implementing different techniques into my learning. This was kind of just to start and to get my momentum going, to get kind of the ball rolling, to get moving, chugging along on lessons so I can start expanding in the future. Remember, it's all about starting. Once you've started and you've started to get a rhythm, you've started to make it part of your daily routine, everything's easy after that. And that's something I forgot when I was 4 years ago. When I graduated college, I had trouble balancing that. So I wanted to get a job, and I got a job, and then I stopped teaching English. So now I'm back, and I've got a rhythm. I've grown up a little bit. I've become more adult. And so I've got a rhythm to this now. And so I plan on doing more lessons in the future. But this is just a start. Let me know if you have any phrases you'd like to learn. Let me know if you have any vocabulary words you'd like to learn or any ideas for lessons. I hope you guys like my new name for the English lessons. It is called Super English. I'm a big superhero fan. I've actually got, let's see if I can do this without moving the camera. You can kind of see it in the corner. I've got Thor's hammer on the wall. I'm a big superhero fan. So I thought it was fun to incorporate into my brand. And we all want to be super at speaking English. Being a super English speaker means that we're fluent, we're exceptional, and we're moving that way. By listening to these lessons, listening to people like AJ Hogue and other English teachers, practicing every day, you're moving and doing one step to be more super than you were yesterday. So thank you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you like this lesson. Like and subscribe, and I will have more lessons out for you in the coming week. See you guys. Have a super day.